Welcome to Real Max Media TV, where we are bringing you the story of Right Honorable RAILA AMOLLO ODINGA, which is so sad.
I think I just like Rao.
Jacom. I like call him Jacom.
He's got so many of them, but I do believe that he's an enigma.
What I found strange about him is that even at a young age, he liked news so much that he would always run home from school to come and listen to the radio. And sometimes he would be sent by my mother to do errands, and then he would leave me there to listen to the news. So you tell me that when they start news, can you listen and then tell me what they have said?
The old ODINGA, the father to RAILA, was thought to be a socialist. You know, at some point I think he moved from a socialist to a social democrat, and which now RAILA is a very strong, one of the strongest social democrats you can believe in this region. I think he has been greatly inspired by his father.
RAILA's father is still the one who had said there will be no independence without Kenyatta.
It showed what kind of a great leader Jaramogi was. First time that Odinga did something very heroic was when he went to London, and in a conference there he declared that Kenyatta had to be released, that there would be no independence without Kenyatta.
When I look at the story of RAILA AMOLLO ODINGA, it has not been that easy. For me, it's so painful.
So RAILA Odinga was in jail for 8.5 years for fighting for multi-party democracy. And RAILA Odinga suffered a lot for this country. He was a political prisoner, he came out, he was in the opposition, and he's been very consistent in fighting for Kenyans.
So growing up in the same family, you have a lot of memories, some good, some not so good, and some painful. And for me, the most painful memory was when the first time I went to see him in detention. Then he started showing me how he's been unwell. He was showing me his arms. There were a lot of marks, and he looked like somebody who had been unwell. They could not allow him even to eat the food that I had brought. Most of it I had to take back.
It is actually hell. It is the worst kind of imprisonment that a human being can suffer. First of all, remember you are detained for no offense that you are told you to have committed. You are not tried for any offense that you are supposed to have committed either. And then you are not told for how long you are supposed to last in prison for whatever you are accused of committing. And when they finally put you in prison, they feed you on the worst possible food. Treatment is very scarce when you get sick.
They would keep you in that prison until you confess. And if you didn't confess, sometimes you'd go for days without food. And you'd be in that cell forever. You are taking your own urine. Fortunately, because you're not eating, you're not shitting. So you would still just do with the urine and the water which was in there. I think that was terrible. Some of my friends were even thoroughly mistreated. They would be beaten. When we then met later in prison, they would tell us, they would scream, and you cannot beat me like a snake. You know how people beat up a snake? So yes, it was terrible. There was mental anguish, there was torture, and physical torture. Some was extreme. You can't even talk about it on national television. But they were very, very cruel. Let me put it that way.
He carries the scars around him, you can see. Others were not even as lucky as him. At least he's lucky, he's alive. There are those who died there. Martin Shikuku left detention with stretchers. No, he was crippled. He was actually taken, I think, to Sweden for treatment. Charles Rubia, terrible. Matiba never recovered until he died. He got a stroke while in prison. A man who was a sportsman, who would climb mountains. That tells a lot about the conditions in prison. Because Matiba was not a soft guy.
When you look at RAILA, his eye cries all the time. because of the detention, because where he was put, the way he was tortured. You know, when you cannot see and then all of a sudden you're brought into the light, of course your eyes are affected. So whenever I see tears oozing from his eyes, you know, I just say, God, please give this man a good long life for him to continue changing the life of many